by watching. If you or you can like pair up with someone next to you that does have a laptop. If you do have your laptop, make sure you have a coding agent installed. There's a couple options. Obviously, like Claude is the one that we recommend. If you have Codex, that's also good. If you don't have like a paid subscription, OpenCode is also really good because you can install DeepSeek Flash v4 for free. So it's a totally free option. That's what we recommend. DeepSeek v4 Flash. If you are struggling to set that up, just raise your hand. Throughout the entire event, we're going to have multiple organizers and TAs. They're going to come around. If you need any help, just raise your hand and we'll help you at any point during the workshop. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Thomas Desmond from Cloudflare to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for being here today, and thanks for supporting DEVx. I've been to a number of their events, and I thought it was cool enough to be a part of it and present at one. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so deploy on Cloudflare. The reason I'm choosing to deploy on Cloudflare is because I work at Cloudflare, so that's a big reason for that. I am by title a principal technical product marketing manager. I don't know what that means either. I tell everyone else I'm a demo engineer. I create a lot of demos, proof of concepts, enablement material. I give different talks like this about Cloudflare, and I'm really excited about today's because we're going to do a bit of a workshop, and we're going to use our coding agents to have them deploy for us to Cloudflare in an unauthenticated manner, and we're going to see what happens. Because in full truth, I have another event in October where I'm supposed to use this with 300 people, and we haven't tested it with a large group, so that's the point of today, is to test this out in a group, see if we can deploy, have our coding agents deploy to Cloudflare, and also do a bit of learning along the way. So it sounds like a lot of you are familiar with Cloudflare at least, and so we are a content delivery network is how we started. Then there's a lot of security features, the DDoS protection, protecting some of the biggest DDoS attacks in the world, having a content delivery network in some of the most countries and cities around the world. And I actually don't know a heck of a lot about that side. I care about the developer platform. I'm on the developer side, been a developer for 8 years. Previously, full stack applications, mostly on AWS. But now moved into the Cloudflare side and been deploying a lot of my applications, all of my applications to Cloudflare. And that's what I want to really talk about today is that developer platform, and we'll be deploying to that as well. Looking at the Cloudflare developer, or the Cloudflare network, so this is the 335 dots on here. I don't know, I didn't count them all. You can count them, but I don't know, trust me, 335. This is every location that has a Cloudflare point of presence that Cloudflare is a part of, that we have the ability to do compute in, the ability for the CDN to run in. So if you have data on Cloudflare, I think even the CDN for the most part is free. Distributing content worldwide, global like this is what you get from Cloudflare. So what we deploy today, the worker, the KV, the storage is going to be taking advantage of this gigantic network. And so it's 335 plus cities in 125 countries. So we do have a location in San Diego. So a lot of the traffic that's going to be going through is going to be going to that San Diego data center, maybe Los Angeles, maybe San Francisco. That's one of the big great things about Cloudflare is that when you deploy something to it, we as in Cloudflare are going to be taking care of how that is routed, the load balancing of it, the scaling of it. You just deploy, and now Cloudflare takes care of actually determining where that's going to run. And there's no regions, which is my favorite thing. I hate just having to pick a particular region because I have no idea where my users are going to be. 534 terabits per second is the network capacity. And I asked Gemini, I'm not really sure, we don't know if we trust Gemini, but I was on the drive here trying to come up with how do we even think about 534 terabits per second? And we came up with a good idea. So Call of Duty, I don't know what it is now, it's way too big of a download. I think we're thinking 200 gigabytes for the game. You can download 330 copies of Call of Duty in 1 second with the capacity here. So if you needed to update it and download it onto your machine 330 times, that's what Cloudflare gives you the capability of. And also within 50 milliseconds of 95% of the internet connected population. So when you deploy to Cloudflare, it's going to be very close and performant to your users. And this one, the blink of an eye is like 150 to 200 milliseconds. So faster than you can blink is how data is getting to Cloudflare, being able to take advantage of the network, take advantage of those 335 cities around the world, which I think is pretty incredible. And just the last part, 20% of the internet is behind Cloudflare. So it's taking advantage of that CDN. I know hopefully it sounds like with some of you raising your hand, you're taking advantage of that network. I don't know, I just think it's pretty incredible that we have 20% of the internet behind Cloudflare. And also, I would ask, so we also, a big thing that was going on with traffic for Cloudflare, there are a lot of cyber threats being blocked. So I got a question, does anyone know any guesses of how many cyber threats are blocked every single day through Cloudflare? Shout out some guesses. Three? Two? A billion? Quarter trillion? Okay.
1 trillion.
1 trillion? We have 310 billion threats every single day is what we're blocking. So there's a lot of malicious traffic out there. There is a lot of good bots, bad bots, and that's something that's kind of interesting right now. We're getting into this world where there's actually now more bot traffic on Cloudflare than human traffic. But these are good bots, these are agentic bots, these are people running workloads that actually matter, but then there's also 310 billion requests that should not go through. And this is actually up about 80 billion since last year. So there is a increasing number of cyber threats, which is a concern, but also pretty, I don't know, cool that we're blocking it. So I just like this. This is not my image. I stole this from, I don't know, it's XKCD that's also someone else has been editing. But just the idea that Cloudflare is down in the bottom left here. We have AWS. Unpaid open source developers is also like this channel here. I love this. I hope that if anyone is doing open source software, thank you. But this is kind of the idea of the internet. And then I don't know if it's hard to tell in the bottom right, that's a shark biting the underground Ethernet cable or the Ethernet or the wires under the ocean. There's kind of this idea that's just a funny idea of how the internet is being held together, and there's just a lot of different pieces going on. But Cloudflare is a giant block in this ready to tumble thing that we call the internet infrastructure. The reason to deploy to Cloudflare, what I want it to kind of emphasize again is just the scalability when you deploy to Cloudflare, you're taking advantage of those 335 cities around the world. You're fast, you're close to your users, there's no regions, there's no picking a region. It's scalable by default, you're gonna be able to have that basically global advantage for Cloudflare, and it's still something even when I release things. I just released something the other day, and it was only 500 users using it, but I was testing it by myself, and then released it to 500 people, scaled, worked. I've had 2 errors in the 5,000 requests that came through. So I'm actually pretty impressed at just how much it's able to handle it, and the errors are due to GPU AI inference, so I blame it on GPUs rather than my code. And then the last piece of that secure and isolated piece, we have a lot of security features. 20% of the internet is running behind Cloudflare. There's a lot of security going on, blocking those 310 billion requests. And I think maybe the last thing I love diagrams. So the idea here, if you're familiar with Cloudflare, I'm going to be talking about that doesn't help. Let me change my screen. So the idea behind Cloudflare and the developer platform that I want to talk about the most right now is, if you're familiar with traditional Cloudflare, how people think of it is there's a client on your left-hand side. This is your laptop, your MacBook, your cell phone. You go through the Cloudflare network, and you get the Cloudflare protection on proxy, DDoS, security, bot management, all the different rules, and then your application actually lives somewhere else. So that's kind of traditional Cloudflare, was your application lived in AWS, on-prem, and Azure. But with the developer platform, what we're going to be looking at today is we get to move that application into Cloudflare, make it all part of Cloudflare, and get the security protections and the application all on Cloudflare. So what I want to build today is this what we're going to do is we're going to deploy a worker. A worker is Cloudflare's serverless function. Think of it like a Lambda, Azure functions, Google functions. I don't know what they call them, but serverless functions. We're going to use our AI agents, our coding agents. I'm using OpenCode. And we're going to use these AI agents to deploy to Cloudflare with a temporary account. So there's no authentication, no credit card, no money. If you're using OpenCode with a DeepSeek v4 Flash model that's also free and was able to make it through the end of the lab, we're going to just make a small game, add a leaderboard to it, so we use some of the storage products of Cloudflare, and then we're going to try and make it multiplayer, having multiple people be able to join a game. And I think it's pretty cool that we can have like a multiplayer game by the end of this. So what the workshop is devxsd-workshop.cloudflare.app. If you have a phone, if you are on your mobile device, wherever your coding agent lives is where we need to test this. And I'd really appreciate as many people trying it as possible because I do need these temporary accounts to see, like, I do need to make, like, I want to see like what it happens when we have 30, 40, 50 people in a room deploying to these temporary accounts without any authentication happening. So we'll see what happens with that. But the idea with this is that these temporary accounts, Cloudflare wants to give you the ability to have your agents deploy and not have to worry about an account. We had a lot of friction with like, hey, the first thing you have to do is go in and type your email, go and create an account. And that's just not a friction point that works well. So we want to kind of unlock this ability to have your agents deploy something. It lives for 60 minutes. And then all of the resources disappear. At the very end, you can claim it. If you don't have a Cloudflare account, you can create one then. If you do have one, you can claim it and it'll just be added to your existing account. But the idea here is that, and then even like with the 60 minutes, if the 60 minutes elapse, you could just redeploy and your app will come back up, but it does live for that just 60 minutes. And I know there's a lot of ability to abuse that, but that's what we're trying to experiment with. That's what we want to use. I'm not the one paying the bill. Cloudflare will be the one paying the bill on these 60-minute deployments. Any questions before I get started here? Yes?
So you had a diagram in which you had the application basically transitioning from being in another region, coming into the regional resources of Cloudflare. Yeah, that one over there. What do you mean? I'm trying to conceptualize it. Is the application usually when you're not using Cloudflare in another region? Is that the reason that you're separating both the regional resources from the application?
I don't think regional resources is the right way to think about it at the moment. That's a good question. The idea is that generally, how like an application has been worked on Cloudflare is that you have the Cloudflare network is the proxy to an origin. So this application is your origin, and that's going to be on AWS or Azure or on-prem. And that's like basically up until 2017, actually probably closer to 2022. This was kind of the model that Cloudflare lived in. Cloudflare was not where you would host your application. It is where you would proxy your application using just that CDN technology, just the security technology. You would route your requests through Cloudflare so it could block any bad requests, have your assets cached, and only go to the origin wherever this lived outside of Cloudflare. But now, with the developer platform, with the services, the workers, KV, and other services that we'll be using in the lab or in the workshop side, all of those services allow us to, those are all built on Cloudflare, all using Cloudflare, so you get to take advantage and move your application basically inside of that Cloudflare orange box and take advantage of these services within Cloudflare.
So that's like all in the CDN layer now? So where does the worker account, is that within that layer too?
Yep. So yeah, now you get to take advantage of what used to be, the presenter notes don't use pictures. So this network. So yeah, what used to, like, when you deploy a worker, which we're going to do, JavaScript code that deploys out its serverless function, like Lambda, Azure functions, it can run in any one of these 335 locations around the world, and Cloudflare is going to do that load balancing, do the optimization, do the routing for you. You're just going to say, hey, execute this function by hitting this URL, and it hits one of these, whatever the most optimal location is for your code to run in, it's going to run in that location.
So
Yes.
it's like not even caching then. It just literally just lives there. So then it'll just make it even faster than if you would have it like running on another service. Or, like yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say like blanketly faster, but there is, what you are now doing is like, I guess the idea is that it's global by, like the big idea here is that it's global by default. When you deploy to Cloudflare, it's now taking advantage of the whole system. And yeah, what used to just be a CDN is now offering full on like, yeah, compute in that location.
So like if we upload an application, that application will live in San Diego in the San Diego server.
No,
No?
it lives in every single one of these dots.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yes.
The local nearest the nearest.
But then if you had an Australian user, that code
Yeah.
would get executed down here. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, the closest optimist location.
Yeah, that's
How in the world do you get like state to exist? Your app state and using it as some storage.
So yeah, so the worker is your serverless function, completely serverless. You can attach state to it with like, we're going to use a KV, a key value store, which is eventually consistent. It's up to 1 minute to be consistent globally. But yeah, the serverless function does not hold a state. That's where we'll get into the cool thing. I think some people, if you've heard durable objects, that option is the state in compute, but that only lives in a singular location. But we'll get to that by the end when we make multiplayer, because it's kind of cool. It is cool, not just kind of cool.
It's very cool.
Very cool. One more question?
So presumably it'd be cost prohibitive to do this with large amounts of media data, but are there any other examples that are not well suited to this?
Good question. I can, well, maybe like just to the ones that are well suited, because I wanted to mention it, like an API is extremely well suited here. Just having an API endpoint that's now global by default. You can have all of your big JavaScript front ends all are supported on Cloudflare. Next.js, Astro. This is an Astro site, this presentation. So all the front ends are supported there. If you need just serverless compute globally, that's where it's going to work out well. Where Cloudflare, so I guess that's a great question, because what I should mention is that Cloudflare's focus is serverless. We are not interested and don't offer like data. Like we have a database, which I'll talk about a bit, but like we're not like, if you're familiar with like EC2 instances of AWS, that is not where we're interested in. We have containers, but they're even like serverless containers. They're supposed to just like run for like 20, 30 minutes and then go back down. There's no, the like concept of just like lift and shift, bring my old job, it was like, hey, it was all on-prem, and then we're like, hey, we're in the cloud. But all we did was just buy like a massive computer on Azure, and we're just like, hey, we're in the cloud. You're like, that doesn't really count. But so this is serverless workloads. Last question.
Does this also work with the Cloudflare OS? I heard something about that.
Cloudflare OS, yes. I don't want to get into that. I can have a whole different topic on that. Cloudflare OS is a super cool agentic framework. It's what we use internally at Cloudflare to enable everyone with AI in secure, isolated workspaces. If you're interested, go to os.cloudflare.app and you can learn more there. But that's a separate presentation that I'm building for next week for someone else. So go to Florida next week. And yes, okay.
Does anyone want to participate in the workshop that doesn't have an AI agent like Claude or OpenCode set up and needs help? Okay, cool.
Okay. So yeah, what I want to do here is deploy, and I'm going to walk through it. We can do it together. You can follow through with workshop yourself. But one thing that I need to do is log out, because if you're not a if you've never used Cloudflare before, then the logging out isn't necessarily a thing. But if you are logged in, if you use Wrangler, if you've logged in with the CLI before, then you'll need to log out. But the idea here is that we're going to have the agent use a CLI to deploy to Cloudflare and do things with no authentication, which I think is concerning, but also cool. So I have these guided versus minimals. The guided, I think if you're using Deep Angel, did you use guided or minimal when you tested?
Guided, but
Yes.
EC2
Yeah, I think if you're on DeepSeek Flash, I think the guided will give it a lot more context and help it out moving through the process. I'm going to use minimal because I want to like kind of share like how small of a request we can go with. So even like if you have your own applications, if you have sites that are Astro, Next.js, Wrangler, or any sort of documentation, even just full-on web applications that you have that you right now, I would encourage you just to like at home try just be like, hey, deploy this to Cloudflare. Use a temporary account and just see what happens, and go for it. But so I'm going to hang out in my temp and have a temp directory. I'm going to use Grok 4.5. After I set this prompt, I'll look at how to make this bigger. And we do want you to just go like, if you're comfortable. I guess I should preface it with, I'm going to go just in build mode. That's the just deploy, go, auto. Don't ask me questions. I don't want to be in plan mode. Just deploy for me. So make a simple hello world Cloudflare worker in TypeScript and deploy it using Wrangler. Don't ask me questions. Do the best you can. And while that's running really quickly, so you can do this in your own terminal, own coding agent, own Claude. I'm using Grok 4.5. I've been able to do this with lower models. You don't need like some Opus 5. I'm not paying I'm not going to reimburse you, but I would not recommend using like a extremely advanced model for this at the moment. Chat. Skills session shortcuts. Font. Interface font size 130. That seems like not the right one. Technical font size. Terminal. Can't read. Did this get bigger? No. Command. No, it's like doesn't because it's like I'm also not a Mac user. So like I feel like you should be able to search up here and be like font and then interface font size. Do I choose it from in here?
What's getting bigger?
It was like this is getting big. I guess everything is getting big with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe just gotta believe. 200 seems to be the max. Oh heck yeah! Now we can read it. So. What it did is we're creating a skill. It seems to be doing quite a bit here. Taking a look. I have some skills if you want to be deploying in Cloudflare in the future. I encourage you to look up, get the Cloudflare skills off of GitHub for Cloudflare skills workers best practices. Creating worker files and deploying. Auth isn't set up, so I'll use temporary deploy if needed. That's pretty cool. It even like realized that temporary deploy thing exists. And we should be able to fixing the worker types. If I open up this shell command, we can see that it did npx wrangler deploy -- temporary, and that's what's giving us this temporary account on top of Cloudflare, deploying this application for us. And I now have hello world worker temporal mum.workers.dev, so I have a URL now, and I can visit that URL, and we have hello world. This is a live URL. You can hit this URL. Thank you. Thank Grok 4.5. So we now have a live URL. This is probably, we could ask it in the future. I don't want to get into that now. Like this is probably hitting the San Diego location. If we have a user in Australia, they are going to, as I said, within 50 milliseconds, they're going to get this 50 milliseconds to get onto the Cloudflare network and have this returned to them. One other thing that I want to mention, one thing that's super cool with Cloudflare workers, so this is executing a Cloudflare worker, that serverless function on the network, and it has at most 5 milliseconds for cold starts. If you're familiar with AWS, if you've heard of cold starts before, usually they're a problem. They used to be a bigger problem 5 years ago, but easily 10, 15, or like multiple seconds, sometimes hundreds of milliseconds as well, 100 milliseconds, 200 milliseconds. 5 milliseconds or less on Cloudflare. It's built on V8 isolates rather than on a VM or container technology. So it's a whole different technology for running on the V8 isolate layer with Cloudflare. Near zero cold starts essentially because that 5 seconds or 5 milliseconds is usually it takes longer for like the SSL connection to be set up before the 5 milliseconds and code is run or brought into the running environment. So that's one of the super cool things is that the very, very low cold starts. So what we have is my laptop talking to a Cloudflare worker, and the arrow can go both ways. That's where we're at right now. And if you're not there, the lovely organizers, if you have a workshop-related question or need support, one of the lovely organizers can help you out if you raise your hand. Okay. But now the next thing I want to do is like, hello world's not the most interesting. This is the most useful application in the world. There's not that many times I need to just say hello world and use this network. So what I want to do is just turn this into a game. One of my favorite games growing up was Snake. So I want to turn this into a Snake game. So it's not just plain. Actually, I wanted to bring up the code too. We'll bring it later. It's not just a plain kind of, hey, return a blank string. This will have HTML, CSS, and things along with it. I'm going to use this really minimal prompt. Shove that in. Sweet. Now make it Snake. Redeploy when it's done. And we can see also up here, temporary accounts preview claim within 60 minutes. This claim URL is what's going to let you actually save this for more than 60 minutes. If you have an account, it'll let you create an account. Or if you have an account, it'll let you associate it with your account. If you don't have an account, you can create one. And at the very end, I will claim this URL for myself. You can see the flow. But that's the idea that we can just have an agent deploy something for us, 60 minutes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't know. And also, my boss, I like him. But he loves making like little meme pages, and he used to like waste a bunch of resources, deploy it, lives on Cloudflare forever. Now what he does is he creates temporary deployments so that he can like make this meme funny joke, and it only lives for 60 minutes. And great guy, but some of the jokes don't land, but he still does them. And then he does, if they're bad jokes, they just die on 60 minutes, and no one has to know that it existed either. So there's kind of that nice process there. So yeah, we're building a retro CRT Snake game and redeploying. MPX Wrangler deploy temporary. We can see that it's deploying that out. Available on the Cloudflare network. If I go to my page, I can refresh. Now I don't need it at 200 anymore. Eat the glowing pellets. Don't bite yourself or the walls. Press start, and I've got Snake going. If you wanted to, there were a couple other game choices there as well that you could offer. And this is cool. What if I hit the wall? Ooh, 40 points, new high score. Not bad, not bad. But one other thing I do, so let me refresh this page, and we can see high score up here is still 40. But if I go to a new incognito tab, we see our high score is 0. So that high score is just probably stored in session storage. It's just in that state for that web page. What we want is long-term storage. We need a way to keep state going because we want to have the high scores longer term than just, or like live past just the users kind of in session storage. So now we got to talk about storage options. That's where KV was brought up. KV, key value store, is a eventually consistent storage. So it does, again, use the... It can live in all 335 cities around the world, that KV storage, and eventually consistent, it will first store in like your local and then distribute out from there. That eventually consistent means that it can take up to a minute to distribute that out. But for something like a leaderboard, that's completely fine if the person in Australia gets a slightly outdated leaderboard for the for up to a minute. Once they refresh, it'll get that consistent data and it'll manage to have different leaderboards be updated. And yeah, so I wanted to, the KV is giving us that ability to have storage and state associated with it. It's meant as a service to be an extremely read-heavy service. It's great for like low write, Heavy read is what KV was built for. So things like a leaderboard, profile information. If you want to cache, like what a lot of people do is like cache JSON of their profile information. Profiles for users rarely change, but they get read often. So it's a great use case for that. So I want to get to that task inside of here. So copy the prompt, add a leaderboard so scores are saved and show up for everyone. Don't ask me questions. So I'm not even at this point going to tell it to use KV, use it to pick a particular service. I'm just hoping that it used. Okay, after a global leaderboard, adding global leaderboard with workers, KV, and redeploying. So the first thing it tells me is that it is actually doing what I wanted. So that's actually pretty nice. So what we're going to try and have essentially now at this point is we're going to have a laptop talking to a Cloudflare worker, and we'll have our key value store here, which is going to contain our leaderboard. So the worker will talk to that KV. When the worker gets executed, it'll call out, make a read to our KV store, and bring that data into the worker and be able to display it. And it'll be able to display it for users all over that are keeping a long-term leaderboard. Takes a little bit more time.
So who got the highest score?
If the multiplayer works, we'll get a challenge going on there. 10? So that's one thing. Like mine was counting by each pickup was 10 points. So like, I got 40 even though I picked up only 4. So I might have cheated, but
100.
Oh, 100. I think that's good. Hopefully we'll see. The multiplayer version is always the riskiest to see what happens building live.
You can just code it and give me a multiplayer multiplier by 1,000.
Any other questions while this is thinking about it? It's working? Nice. I don't know, Grok 4.5, you've been disappointing me recently. It's going. Yeah, what other model? What is anyone using? Like, I guess depends on who's paying the bill. 4.6 is out.
Yeah.
Do I have it?
As we talked.
It just came out.
Grok 4.6. What the heck? Why are you guys not telling me this? So now we're on Grok 4.6. So the next one we'll use 4.6. But I don't know. That's one thing. Cloudflare, they like limit our model. Like they're limiting our context for price, like, which is, I don't know, not my favorite thing at the moment. But
What's this app you're using? Open Chamber?
OpenChamber, it's a UI for open code because I am not dedicated enough to use a CLI tool because I say that this makes me more productive. It's a lot easier to manage multiple instances at the same time. But OpenChamber, open code is like what we are using at Cloudflare. We're using connecting to a service where Cloudflare pays the bill on that side. But OpenChamber, yeah, is this kind of UI, and I think it works for you can use it with any CLI tool, and it also uses Cloudflare tunnels so you can connect from your phone. Which I hear some people have used Cloudflare tunnels before, which is pretty cool. So let's see, our snake game, does it have a leaderboard now? Let's see, let me refresh, make sure I'm on the right. Oh, now I got a leaderboard on the right-hand side. And it even gave it self-test 50 points. Now I don't,
Oh man, we gotta get on there.
multiplayer. So let's see, I'll get runner to the wall, ace. Ooh, so Thomas, save, uploading. So now if I go to this in a incognito tab, we can see that it's not in session state anymore. If you go to this URL, this is real. You can put on your own, you can try and attempt to go to this version and set up your own high score. So yeah, what we're doing is that idea of, from our laptop, going to the Cloudflare worker, and now it's pulling in that state from our key value store. That's how that is how the leaderboard is being built out. And we're just like, we're just vibing on it, getting our agent to build that for us, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to try out, so yeah, it's worker to KV leaderboard. So I'm going to give the snake game again minimal, and I'm going to start the prompt for the multiplayer because it can take a minute, and then I'll talk for a second. So yeah, the idea, let's make this snake multiplayer with durable objects. Race for the coin. Snakes can overlap. First head on the coin scores. First to 5 wins. Make it work across browser tabs. So let's see. Grok 4.6. Let's see what you can do. I've been using the GPT 5.6 as well. It's expensive, I think. The Luna one sucks. But the Sol and Terra, Sol's great. Terra's not. Terra's like hit and miss for me, but I don't know. Maybe I just have too high expectations right now. Okay, so we are now going to try and make this multiplayer. We're going to make it multiplayer, and we're going to be using a service called Durable Objects on Cloudflare. Has anyone built with a durable object before? Heck yeah, 3, which is a good number. So durable objects are a product service on top of Cloudflare that bring together state and compute into one. So it's using essentially it's a combination of a worker for our serverless compute and a D1 database for a SQLite-backed database, which has a 10 gigabyte limit. But the idea with durable objects is that you shard them into the millions, if you would like. So it's breaking down what used to be for a multiplayer application, you would usually maybe have one central database or one central kind of storage area where everyone has to connect to. Whereas in this durable object world, the idea is that you're going to have a durable object, in this case, like per room, like per snake game, per 2 players, they will have a durable object spun up in a location most optimal for the first person to connect at the moment. And then they will be able to connect to that one compute and one database, and it is single threaded so that we can manage, there's no like collision concerns there. But what these work out for is essentially building out stateful compute, build real-time multiplayer apps with a degree, without a degree in distributed systems. Because I guess another great example would be, I like to use the example, let's see if we have it on here. Yeah, it's like a micro VM, but the other example would be collaborative editing experiences. So Google Docs is not built with these, but the idea being that you would spin up an individual durable object per document, and that would be able to give you one location, one named space, where it contains all the information about who's editing, who's connected, what the document says, and it's this one singular location. So it's really a different building paradigm where instead of having this like one central location that you have to kind of manage a ton of connections to, you create one singularized stateful compute instance called a durable object. Great for chat systems, great for building agents because now we can give every single agent its own durable object. So this is kind of what Cloudflare OS is doing at one layer of it, is that every single chat instance, every workspace that you create inside of there is going to be its own durable object. I am using gchat at work. I hate it sometimes, but every single chat room could be a durable object. And that's the idea, we're able to expand into these hundreds of thousands, millions of individual durable objects that are each named instances. So on our multiplayer snake game, we're going to have a worker still talking, well, I'm not really sure if it's going to talk to KV, but we're going to have a worker that coordinates a connection to, just for simplicity, let's get rid of this KV and call it this is a durable object, and this is per room. So we can we'll see what it builds out. So let's see, generating types, redeploying, open the URL in 2 tabs. Looks like it doesn't give me the idea of, I want to have the ability to have more than one game going, so rooms, type, so it looks like it built it out for just one singular room. adding room name fields so that players can join separate teams. We'll see how that goes. But I think someone joined. People are in it. Someone's playing it in this particular instance. And what's happening is we're connecting to this via WebSockets. So these two people, whoever they are playing this game. That blue player, you're going around it.
I was trying to see if it was actually playing.
Okay. First to 5. I don't know who green is. It might be me, actually. Am I in this other? Someone's green. But let me build out this really quick, this diagram. So the idea is that we have like room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, infinite rooms. And these are each going to be their own durable object instance. We can scale to infinity. It's managed by usually one particular worker that is going to set up that initial connection. In our case, we're going to have the worker set up a WebSocket connection, and then that worker is completely unnecessarily at that point because now we have a WebSocket connection between the instances. So let's see what happens. Okay, so now we have a name. So I have my name Thomas, and I'm going to put a room called Dev. So I'm going to join the room. If someone else, I guess someone else was already on the URL. If you can try joining with your own name in the room Dev, we can see what happens. 3, 2, someone joined. I'm green. Okay. Oh, come on.
So I can see like, oh shit. I got hijacked.
Hey. I don't know. Alex, where are you? Alex, what? Yeah, actually, Alex, you get a hat. We have hats available. So make sure that Alex gets one. So we have this multiplayer game. We built it out. Oh man, it's still here. I can't let someone. Oh my gosh, Alex. I'm taking that hat back. No, but so we have this multiplayer game, and I think just what I think is super cool or like insane to me is that in 15, 20 minutes, we have this multiplayer game. It's built on top of Cloudflare. This is actually like super scalable. You could now have hundreds of people playing Snake on your in your application. It would be different rooms. So this is like if you want to have highly interactive, collaborative multiplayer experiences, something that you can build out. And this is completely free. We're on a temporary account, so it lasts for 60 minutes, and we're like building out this really cool like shared experience. So I just think that's, I don't know, I'm amazed by it. Hopefully you are as well. And what I wanted you to try, if you're at this point now, so one of the last things that I wanted you to try is claiming it. So claiming it is it's up to you, it's optional. But if you want to have this live for longer than 60 minutes, you'll need to claim the account, or claim the project essentially. So you can copy the account, or copy this prompt because we need to get that claim URL back from it. So I just needed to print the claim URL. And it should be, if you scroll up, you can probably find it, but I don't want to scroll. But what we'll do, so this is a claim URL. If I click on it, you'll see a web page, and you can see I have 38 minutes to basically claim this if I want to have it. Otherwise, and we can even see like this is, so it's using a Hello World worker. It has a resource for using KV. I can claim this. And now this is going to live inside of my Cloudflare account. It actually creates a new like workspace for you in your, it'll be easier to show here. So now I have Snake Duel live. But like it created, which isn't like, so Hello World temporal mum. We now have like in your accounts list, you'll see this temporal mum account that, or whatever your URL was, it'll create that account. So it's actually its own separate isolated account, and does actually, now you also get a ton of extra, like the temporary accounts don't have as, the limits are a little bit lower, but now you can actually use this, and if there's no credit card associated with it, won't get billed. If you do have a credit card associated with your account, I'm not going to reimburse you if there are any charges, but the idea that this is kind of available to you now, and we have a worker that can live on forever. But that's what I wanted to show. Thank you. Question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, what is the advantage of using your sharded system versus having the centralized method of the EC2 instance out of scale group? For which instances it will be more advantageous to use this?
Biggest one's going to be scale, as well as, again, I'm going to bring up, I love this diagram. So the durable object is going to live, it can live, technically can't live in every single one of these locations. Where durable objects live is any one of these potential locations. And the idea being that now, if you had one centralized, it would probably be in AWS on the East Coast in Virginia. It'd be stuck there, and everyone would have to connect to that one. But now you can have it live in any one of these locations, and it can live in Perth, I don't know, any one of these locations. And the idea of it, now it's much closer to your users. You're going to have a better experience with latency, especially if you're trying to have these like multiplayer experiences, collaborative experiences. That's going to be the number one, is that, and also isolation. Now you have every game is its own isolated durable object. If that game blows up, goes wrong, it's isolated that incident rather than a much larger scale database. Or if there's like taking a bunch of resources, it's on that one singular durable object instance rather than trying to take over this extremely large database. And also scale to zero. When it's not being used, the durable object just goes away. There's no kind of paying for capacity that you don't need. Go ahead.
I made a similar app that it uses a WebSocket, multiple player can connect. Right now I'm seeing I can use this system to launch my app. I'm talking about cost. If I reach the, for example, 1 million customers, visitors, how I can calculate potential cost for me on the Cloudflare.
Yeah.
If it's deep question, we can talk later.
I mean, I can't give you like on the documentation is where you're going to go. And durable objects are like a confusing, or can be confusing to price. Let's see.
Because opportunity is very nice. I can build the infrastructure, but it's going to cost more. So I can use this system.
Yeah, you can look. I think the biggest thing with durable objects is again going to be like it's the duration, is like how long your durable object is being connected to, and it's like kind of difficult. Like I don't know, I'm not the price person at the moment, but if that's something we can talk more on in the future. But it is associated in the free tier, so I would say if you want to, try it out for free, and if it works, like before you even like getting too much into the pricing, just see if it'll work on the free section. Yeah.
Second question, how we can know the all instance analytics? Like is something in the Asia part is taking more traffic? Are we able to know those?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit of observability aspects that you can get, whether it's your worker or.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes. There's a lot of observability tracing available. So there's a whole observability tab even. But you can see like where requests are coming from, what they're doing, the messages that they're sending through, and even the new alerts as well.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think you had a question, Luke?
Yeah, I was going to ask have them for longer than an hour, and then I just think that kind of got answered.
Yeah, you can have them for longer than an hour. But yeah, they have like a kind of like sleep hibernate kind of idea. There's idea of like saving storage, like saving for long-term storage, saving for storage that just like disappears immediately. So there's a lot of different options of like how you want to store data, and that determines costs and whatnot. Yeah. Go ahead.
And to ask that same question a third way, staying at the free tier, what's the rough limit of what we can do? A gig a day, a terabyte a day, if you have a rough estimate like that?
Like, so the requests per day, 100,000 requests per day, which is like, and then 1,300 gigabits per second, like, it's hard. Like with durable, so if you ask me anything other than durable objects, no problem. With KV and workers, like.
So set aside durable objects. Let's say I want to set up a messaging server or a video streaming site. How much data can I send out on an ephemeral basis? Like, if I want to say, hey, I'm going to have 100,000 YouTube channels live camera streaming to San Diego Bay.
Yeah.
Presumably, free tier is not going to allow.
Free tier is not going to work. So like free tier storage, R2 is going to be 10 gigabytes, and then it's depends on just like 19 cents per gigabyte after that or something.
So if
but
we had 10 gig of storage and we constantly do a circular buffer and we constantly update the video, so you can scroll back 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So that would work forever on the free tier?
Yeah.
For now.
I'm gonna look up your account and see what you're doing on there. I think there was another question, but overall, the free tier is extremely generous and super free. I do just recommend trying it out, and also there's also free AI inference. We have GPUs in 230 cities around the world. There's open source models on Cloudflare that you can use for free on the free tier, and highly recommend it. Was there a question up front?
Yeah, just about the durable objects. How does
Yes.
that?
I love these
So
questions.
are you saving like each coordinate in the snake game? When we're talking the snake game, is it saving the coordinates of the snake position in that durable object? Is that the way it's working?
That is so. The durable object has like there's the compute. There is storage for long term, which is going to be in the database, and then there's just like current state, like existing like long term state that will disappear if the durable object goes down, and then there's the compute. So that state is going to be just like it's not going to be storing it for like long term. It's just like in session storage for that, which is extremely fast and stored on like in the durable object itself. But things like the leaderboard are then going to or who wins is stored to like long-term state, but the rest of it will disappear.
So it must be sending like the snake position right now is like X value, Y value, and then.
Probably. I think that's also the joy, and what I also am interested. I've never done a talk like this. It's kind of an experiment. We just made a whole application. We deployed it to Cloudflare. We didn't look at a single piece of code, and it's something that I'm trying out. So I'd love feedback on it in the future. If you guys want to see code, I'd love to hear that. But I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done a technical presentation written. Code has been written, but we did not look at it. So this is just kind of a new thing that I tried. And I don't know what I've done enough Cloudflare implementations to know durable objects, WebSockets, what's happening. But at an implementation level, I don't. Detail level, I don't know.
So if you did like a Google Doc with the durable and no one uses it for an amount of time, then it's just going to disappear.
Yep, and it'll spin up right when you need it. It's like a micro VM is a good idea.
So could I access it like a week later? It'll still be there?
Yep. Month later, 2 years later.
Okay, it's just when it's being used. Okay.
And that particular document itself too. If that document, if you had 1,000 documents and one of them is just not used, then you'll never pay for it.
Okay.
But if you have 10 others, it's kind of.
Okay, so when it disappears, it doesn't clear the data associated.
The data that you've chosen to store long term.
Okay, so it'll send it to long term.
It'll save it into its own SQLite database. Or you can store it if it's something else, you could store it in R2, which is like object storage, S3 kind of idea.
Presumably it's not intended for multiplayer gaming, but what would the latency be for someone from Tokyo joining the room that's here? So let's suppose that the ISP connection is 100 milliseconds. What's the additional time for the state being synced to the Tokyo room?
That's a harder question to answer, other than don't quote me, but I can say better than AWS, better than Azure. One thing of Cloudflare, we have our own private backbone network, so we are not using the public cloud when we're going between these networks. And I think maybe that's even something to emphasize.
So for the durable objects, you said the eventual consistency was of about a minute.
Yep.
What about for the ephemeral sync? Seconds, milliseconds? For something like the snake game.
Milliseconds, I would say. I think I think that's something you had to add I was going to add the Cloudflare network. This is not AWS, this is not Azure, this is not Google, this is Cloudflare. We have our own network, our own private backbone, our own negotiations with ISPs to have our own private networks and private connections. So they are some of the fastest that they can be because we're connecting to our own services, not using public cloud, public internet like AWS and others have to rely on.
So one more last thing on that. The scheduler, that's too technical to say something. Is it saying, hey, we're going to set this data live constantly, or is it doing asynchronized at a certain number of millisecond steps?
I don't know the implementation.
You can always ask more questions after the presentation.
Yes, I'll be available. I'm Thomas Desmond. Thanks for letting me talk about Cloudflare. Thanks for guinea pigging temporary accounts. If you had any, no one had any questions or issues with temporary accounts themselves, it seems. We're all on one IP-ish, and it seemed to work. So thanks for being the guinea pigs, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, find one of the organizers and we'll get it to you. We're also going to raffle off, I think how many do we have? More than 20? 42? Maybe we just make it first come, first serve. Maybe first come, first serve. Let's do that. Yeah, so. We have a wheel thing, yeah. But this is a lot. I feel like first come, first serve is gonna be good. All right, sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed that presentation. Let's give one final round of applause to Thomas. Put a lot of effort into that. I know that was really informative. So we have a couple little announcements from our community. First up, we have Sonia from Freedom with AI. She's going to be talking about the free founder office hours that they're going to do here. So take it away.
Thank you so much. And this was really funny presentation, and we enjoyed it. And I didn't get more than 10 points, so that was disappointing. But yeah, so this is me, Sonia Cami, my co-founder, and we have a company, Freedom with AI, and it's purely advisory. And there are two things there. One is that we actually advise founders, entrepreneurs, startups, and even companies. And the other is we have a product. It's an AI entrepreneur advisor product. Again, if you don't want to pay us, you can use the product. It's easy to use, and hopefully you can get some information out of there and some value out of there. So today, we love DEVx. So first, we just enjoyed the community. They asked us, like, do you want to present? So we presented. And then we realized that, I think it was Sam who asked the question, how many of people in the room were entrepreneurs, and 80% of them raised their hand. So we decided that we're actually going to help out. So this is a great community, and we would just do free founder office hours because not everybody is ready to part with their money. They might actually be just doing the bootstrap themselves. So we love the community, and we just want to offer whatever we are learning in the field, whatever our understanding, expertise, knowledge is. Of course, ultimately, entrepreneurial journey is your own, but whatever we can do. So this was our first time doing it, but we are going to do it regularly every month. You can sign up here and grab a spot. So we didn't really do any calendar or anything, where we have set times. We've already done a couple of those in that conference room, and we will be there. So if any one of you have a problem, which means if you're stuck at something that you're doing in your entrepreneurial journey, which means if you don't know exactly what problem are you solving, it could be, who you are trying to reach. Do you know, like, if you're going to get money? So usually, like, the problems really lie when you're stuck is it's in the idea stage, it's in the target customer stage, or you actually have a product market fit and you don't really are able to grow or scale. So any one of those, or wherever you're stuck, we're happy to talk through that with you. So yeah, I think that many of you might be shy. You're like, you know what, I don't want to get in a conference room and talk about it because I really feel like I'm uncomfortable even talking about my product or an idea. So I'll leave you with this. Always ask yourself, what problem are you trying to solve? I think that every single one of us here love building with AI. I mean, we just build the product today, like, like a game, and you could really do so much now. So your solution doesn't matter, because every yoga teacher is building their own app. Like, Cammy's mom, 80-year-old, I think we can get her to build an app now. So it doesn't matter what your solution is. Do not start with your solution. Your whole thing is, what problem am I trying to solve? Who am I trying to solve it for? Do they have the problem? And are they actually going to find some solution to solve the problem? Because some people are happy to live with the problem. And then if you find those people who have the problem and who are ready to actually get it solved, are they going to actually use your solution? And then are they actually going to pay for that? Because ultimately, you do not have a business unless you actually have paying customers. So I think if you're in the early stage, those are the things to always think about. And then again, like, we will be here in the conference room, and you can sign up and reach out to us. Thank you.
Sorry, an unplanned announcement. Oh, never mind. A planned announcement. We also co-host San Diego AI Showcase. It's the first Tuesday of every month. September 1st is the next one. And the co-hosts that we do this with are Demian and Anna Borba at the skate school in Vista. So if you can make it up to Vista, it's really a great showcase where we get to kind of show and tell our things that we're building, whether it's services or products, but mostly it's products. So come and show your ideas and your prototypes, even if you don't have a working product. Like, even speaking about your idea is one of the best steps of entrepreneurship. So join us.
Sweet. All right, so those are just a few announcements from our community, from Sonia and Cami. Now is your opportunity to come up for around 15, 30 seconds. If you have something you want to share, an event you're going to, a project you're working on, or just something that you're like, hey, I'm here and, I'm interested in this, come talk to me. This is your chance. We're going to limit it to just 4 today, just in the interest of time, But with that said, anyone want to come up and share something they're working on? It's coming up.
Hey dudes, my name is Lucas, and I'm putting a thing together next Sunday. It's called a Share-a-thon. It's just a play on words for, instead of a hackathon where we're competing for something, we're just getting together and show and tell and showing each other what we're building. Just a way to get inspired, get stoked, and, just get a little support from your friends. So it's in La Mesa. Did you say where is it? Yeah, it's in La Mesa. It's on Luma, and I got this if you want to track me down or use this right now. My head is blocking my face. Oh, here. Okay, sick. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I'll just be floating, so just find me. It's the second one. The first one was pretty fun. Had 15 people and just nerding out at a coffee shop. So, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Let's give it up for Luke. I know I'll be there. I'll be at that one too.
Hey guys, my name's Tomer. I'm a master's student. I actually go to school in New York, RPI if anyone's familiar. Yeah, Rensselaer. I'm a master's student there. I have a semester left. Kind of building a product right now called Sway. Basically, I don't by a show of hands, who uses Claude code? I assume a lot of people. How many people can confidently say they know everything about what it comes out with? Raise the hands. All right, 2 people. Kind of makes sense. I'm building an app that kind of basically helps you and guides you through what it does. Doesn't kind of sway around, creates assumptions for you. So yeah, if you want to meet me after or search it up, I have a website for a waitlist when it comes out. It's called withsway.dev. And yeah, you'll get emailed when the early access is completed, so you can kind of start getting to use it. It's gonna be free. Don't believe in paying for now, so yeah. Anyways, that's it.
Thank you, Tomer.
All right, thank you. Hey, my name's Rick Moy, and I'm working on a couple things. The main thing, though, is a customer intelligence and decision-making app that will help people like you understand what your customers really want. So it analyzes your conversations. You can use it for user testing, interviews. You can use it to deconstruct sales conversations if you ever have those. But the thing I want to ask you for now is I'm doing some research into a pain that's very personal to me right now and maybe to you. How many of you are using 2 or more agents? Anyone using 3 or more? 4 or more? Okay. Who thinks they've found the perfect setup? Exactly. Okay, so I want to understand the criteria that the community feels makes a good agent setup and a bad agent setup, and how we're making decisions about which ones to move from. It seems like every week with a new model, either the harness changes or the model degrades. So I'm doing some research into that, and so I'm using my own product, dog fooding, to do a survey. So if you go here, you can scan a little 5-question survey, and it kind of asks, how are you thinking about this? What's your experience been? And this is kind of phase 1. The goal is to do a public study and then share the findings back, and hopefully we can get some insights as to what our peers are doing to find a better agent setup. And I'm even going to give somebody $20 in tokens. Well, technically, I'm giving you cash, and you can spend it whatever you want, but I would suggest tokens, okay? So help me out so I can help you out.
Thank you, Rick. Yep, scan the QR code if you want to check that out. And we got time for one more. Yes, you in the back. You want to come up? What's your name?
Hey guys, my name's Kyle Presley. I just got out of the Navy 2 months ago. Had a great career as a naval surface warfare officer, also an electrical and computer engineer. And currently I'm building software, some hardware products, and doing government bids. And yeah, if you're looking to make a difference for national security and get in on some of these government contracts, hit me up.
Thank you. All right, well, that's the event. That's the main presentations. We're going to stay open until around 4. I think we have some drinks left, some waters and stuff. We killed the pizza, which is good. But yeah, just feel free to hang out. Please ask questions for any of the people that gave announcements, or Thomas is still here. If you have any more questions about Cloudflare and such, talk to him. Talk to Sonja and Cami with the founder office hours. And yeah, and if you want to stay connected with future events, scan the QR code. That'll take you to our website. You can see our Discord and also see future events like this. One last thing before I forget is we have like 40 Cloudflare hats. So these are sick hats that you've seen our guys repping. The Agents Never Sleep hats from Cloudflare. So we have like 40 or so. So what? Okay. Alex, you're first come, first served, wherever you are. And then we have a bunch more to give away. So it'll be first come, first served to come grab yours. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. And I hope you had a good time. I'm going to get one for my boss.
Oh no, the one that I got in the slot, I got it from I did win the first one.
Yeah, so how did you get your name? That's funny. So my mom liked the name Tristan. Like Legends of the Fall. No fucking shit. That's how I got my name. Really? My mom had a crush on Brad Pitt. I think there's a bunch of like 30 to 32-year-old Tristans. 31? 28. Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of like